What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy David. We back with another reaction video. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the fucking, this maniac on my screen. This piece of shit on my screen. Today we'll be fact-checking Hitler. That's it. That's all I gotta say, man. With that being said, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure y'all get some 1,000 subscribers. Let's get it, bro. Okay. Oh, shit. I put on the wrong audio. Hold on, guys. I be having this shit go to my headphones. Not gonna lie.
Aaron, I asked for surrender 5 times before we attacked Warsaw. Everything.
All right. Settle down, children. Let's see.
Yeah, this animation good as a motherfucker, bro. Oh, we got Mao Zedong, and is that Stalin? I know it's Mao because of the hair and the little mole right there. No, Kevin. And this is the mustache man. We know who that is. Is this Winston Churchill or some shit? I don't know.
Hitler, Stalin, Chamberlain, and Mao. You have chosen, or been chosen, to participate in one of our
Man, this nigga slobbering like a motherfucker, bro. God damn, bro. That boy mouth, his mouth is so goddamn wet. Pause, but what the hell?
finest remaining fact-check programs. Corporate will present to you a speech you gave and then fact-check if your claims are the truth or were just manipulative tactics that caused the loss of millions of lives.
With the way most politicians move, a lot of shit that they do and say isn't real. It's actually just manipulation. So a lot of shit that this piece of shit is gonna be saying today, this piece of shit right here is gonna say, is gonna be nothing but manipulation that cost the lives of millions of people for no reason, bro.
Just a routine check to make sure current-day society knows the truth about you all. I'm sure no one here has something they maybe shouldn't have said. Oh well, time to find out. I'll be in my office. Historically Facts, Part 14. Alright, let him in. Welcome, Adolf. Take a seat. So, you've made quite the bold claims, haven't you? Let's see, 1940...
Bro, how the fuck did YouTube let this shit slide? This shit... Yo, this nigga just letting that shit hang, bro. What the fuck, bro?
Reichstag speech. This war was forced upon us. 1939, when starting the war, you also said, last night, Polish regular soldiers fired on our own territory. Since dawn today, we are returning fire. Oh, where are my manners? Let me introduce myself. My name is Oliver, minimum wage employee Oliver, and I am going to be annoying. Let's fact-check you, Adolfi. In the year 1940, you gave the Reichstag speech, a yearly speech where you addressed the country about the current state of affairs. This year's speech was a big one, as you celebrated your victory over France and offered what you called a final appeal to reason. I'm obviously talking about your peace offer speech. Thanks to AI, we can now listen to you in English, so we finally understand what you truly said on that day.
We didn't even need AI to listen to this nigga, bro. We probably been knowing what the fuck he said since he said that shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Let's have a listen, shall we? We start with the very first line of your speech, Adolf.
I have summoned you to this meeting in the midst of our tremendous struggle for the freedom and the future of the German nation.
Freedom and the future of the German nation. That's
Said by an Austrian, bro. This nigga is from Austria, bro. Austria. That's like a guess, man.
not really accurate. In 1940, Germany was indeed fighting for its freedom, because it actually had thrown that freedom away by starting the wars with European nations. By that time, your Germany had already invaded Poland and a bunch of other European countries, not to mention just annexed others. The idea that Germany was in a struggle for freedom comes across here as a justification for the war effort.
The program of the National Socialist Movement was simply an effort to effect revision of the Treaty of Versailles. And so far as possible, this was to be brought about by peaceful means.
Hold on.
Fuck no, this nigga did not win no goddamn peace. What the fuck? These niggas some hypocrites. They so hypocritical, this is crazy, bro.
That's not quite right. You are representing the Nazi movement like it was just trying to fix an old injustice peacefully. But that's not really what was going on. You violated the Versailles Treaty by rearming in 1935, remilitarizing the Rhineland in 1936, annexing Austria in 1938, and seizing Czechoslovakia in 1939. All before the war. It definitely revisions the treaty, but none were peaceful means.
The conditions imposed at Versailles were intolerable.
You are right that a lot of Germans felt that way. After World War I, the treaty really did hit Germany hard. You lost territory, colonies, and were forced to accept full blame for the war. On top of that, the reparation bill was massive, and the country went through hyperinflation and unemployment in the 1920s, followed by famines and death. So yes, it felt intolerable to many ordinary people. But here's what you need to show in your speech. Why what you say matters to the current now. Because while the treaty wasn't popular, it didn't force Germany into dictatorship or another war. Germany's reparations had already been reduced by the Dawes Plan in 1924 and Young Plan in 1929, and cancelled entirely in 1932 at the Lausanne Conference.
They canceled it already, so what the fuck was the point of the war? Yo, what's the point?
Germany's economy was recovering, and by 1940, when this speech was held,
They canceled it? Bro, they didn't even cancel the debt France had in Haiti. How the fuck did they cancel that shit? That's crazy, bro. They didn't even cancel the debt that Haiti, like, owed France. I said that shit backwards, bro. Like...
already rearmed, remilitarized, annexed countries, which made your country massive, and so on. I would almost say you're better off than you started with your free expansion. Bringing this old wound up, which has nothing to do with the now, is, well, a simple yet poor justification that you should keep going with the war. I'm going to be honest with you, Adolf, it's not looking too hot for you. Let's rapid fire some more statements, just to be sure with you. Let's see.
In this case, we once more showed unprecedented and truly superhuman self-control.
Adolf is here referring to Poland's alleged provocations that forced Nazi Germany to invade Poland. I think a lot of people never thought about this, but how do you think Adolf Hitler was able to convince all his countrymen that they should definitely attack their neighbors? He needed a probable cause. Unfortunately, since Poland wasn't giving him any, he was just going to give one to himself. On August 31, 1939, the day before the Polish invasion, the Germans fabricated the Gleiwitz incident, a false flag attack staged by German SS troops dressed as
That's fucking false flag, nigga. Is this COD? They out here doing false flag shit. That's fucking nuts.
Poles to claim Poland started the war. On that August night, the disguised SS troops
Bro, why does the moon have bites taken out of it? Who did that to the moon? That's crazy, bro.
stormed the Gleiwitz station and broadcasted anti-German messages in Polish, which in war terms translates to Polish soldiers invaded Germany. Nazi Germany didn't show self-control towards Poland, they exerted control. And if this incident wasn't proof of that fact,
That nigga took the candy from the baby, bro. What the fuck?
we always have the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, where Germany and the Soviet Union secretly partitioned Poland and other countries a week before the war started.
It was only the Anglo-French warmongers who desired war and not peace.
Mr. Chamberlain, the English Prime Minister of the time, aka your Anglo opponent, who is sitting in a waiting room waiting for judgment himself, was literally the opposite of a warmonger with his appeasement policies. France had the same mindset, so this statement is yet again BS.
Last year, this war was thrust upon Germany against my wish and desire.
I'm not even going to comment on this one.
We possess the two most vital raw materials, coal and iron, in what I may today term unlimited quantities.
By 1940, Germany faced chronic shortages. The country relied on imports of iron ore from Sweden and fuel from the Soviet Union until 1941. So unlimited quantities? Not really.
German and Russian relations have been finally established.
I mean, it's true, but the next year, Germany broke that pact. And one more, just for fun. In this hour, I feel it to be my duty to appeal once more to the reason and common sense in Great Britain.
He's saying this speech. He's trying to make it seem like he wants peace, but really, this nigga's want to take shit. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Okay, please, let's settle for peace, Mr. Churchill. While you were basically continuously begging for peace with England, and yet again today on the Reichstag speech, behind the scenes you approved 3 days earlier Operation Sea Lion, the invasion plan for Britain. Secondly, your appeal to reason was more of an ultimatum to surrender than something else. I'm sorry about that, case number 23523, but it seems you are really falling into the red door ballpark. I'll have to ask you to leave my office through the red door.
Yeah, gotta send that nigga to hell. For real, he gotta go. Bye-bye.
Alright, bring the next one in. And while we wait for the next one to get ready, allow me to entertain you with the sponsor of this video, War Thunder. You know what's worse than getting checking the links in the description or pinned comment to play War Thunder on your favorite screen or the red door. What does each door mean? Well, don't worry about nothing.
Hallo, ik ben hier. Hallo, Ausländer raus.
Oh shucks, I forgot to send him off.
Oh, scheiße.
Oh, don't mind that. Just, you know, sending him off. Hey, I'm just doing what corporate wants. Don't look at me. Anyway, let's see if you also end up at the red door. So, for you, we picked a pre-war speech. Specifically the speech you gave in 1936, when your famous Stalin Constitution was officially legislated. It was the second official constitution of the USSR that supposedly was the most democratic and progressive on Earth.
Which is so nuts because this nigga literally caused a famine, one of the greatest famines in human history, like, by himself. It's crazy.
So when you read between the fine lines, you notice it simply gave you, Joseph, total authoritarian control. I wonder if it has anything to do with the Great Purge that you started the following year. You know, mass executions, gulag expansion, and total silencing of opposition? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's pick apart your speech. No surviving audio means I'll be doing the narration. Don't worry, I practiced for this moment, so... The new Soviet constitution guarantees complete equality of rights for all citizens. Complete communism, the bread and butter of the ideology. Let's see how that went. In the same year, entire ethnic groups, Poles, Koreans, Finns, Germans, who were still Russian citizens, were being deported and placed under NKVD surveillance. The 1937 Polish operation alone killed over 100,000 people. Come on, Joseph, at least be socialistic and equal it by killing everyone at that point, eh? Freedom of speech and of the press is fully secured for the working people. Ah yes, the Soviet definition of freedom. Say whatever you want. Once. Every newspaper, radio and publishing house was state-controlled under Glavlit. Criticize the party? You don't get a news piece, you get
You get fucking removed, nigga. Exterminated. Neutral. Hey, nah, cause you know when they be killing people and these shit, they don't say they killed them. They be like, we neutralized or exterminated the threat type shit.
Next shot. From 1937 to 38, hundreds of writers and editors were executed or sent to the Gulag, where they were, I guess, free to die. Freedom of conscience is guaranteed, the church is separated from the state. AKA, you're free to believe and attend church, if you can find one. Over 40,000 churches closed. Priests got arrested, shot or sent to Siberia. By 1939, there were maybe a few hundred functioning churches left in the entire USSR. Worship was replaced by weekly confessions to the party. Elections will be universal, equal and secret. I'm not even going to get into that one, to be honest. I think everyone knows that was complete BS as well.
Yeah.
Exploitation of men by men has been abolished.
That's also a fucking lie. Oh my god.
True. Now it's the state exploiting everyone. The Gulag system turned millions into slave laborers. From logging in the Arctic to digging canals by hand. Over 1.5 million people died doing non-exploitive social...
You don't want to go to Siberia, comrade? You don't want to go to Siberia and cut down logs and also to fight fucking tigers? Why not, comrade? Why not? Like, bro, this is crazy, dude.
This labor. The Soviet Union has eliminated unemployment forever. Yeah, because not working became illegal. Parasite laws made unemployment a crime, punishable by, you guessed it, prison or exile. The internal passport system tied workers to factories. You didn't have to pick a job, the job picked you. And if you refused, there is always employment waiting in Kolyma. The people trust the government completely. Of course they did, because not trusting it
Because there was no other choice. They had to trust the government completely. What the fuck?
killed. The USSR ran on fear, not faith. Informant networks were everywhere. Neighbors, co-workers, even children reporting on their parents. Trust meant keeping quiet and hoping your name didn't end up on a list. And I guess this is my favorite from you, Joseph. This constitution is the victory of socialism. Yeah, sure, Joe. The victory of socialism. Written in ink, signed in blood. From 1937 to 1938, the NKVD, the Russian secret police, unleashed what's now called the Great Terror. Mass arrests, show trials, and executions on an industrial scale. NKVD Order 00447 gave regional quotas. Arrest and execute 72,950 people in Moscow. 60
What the fuck? Regional quotas on your own people? Damn, nigga, if you wasn't Hitler, you would be basically Satan. Yeah, I guess he's the lesser of two evils, but he's still evil as shit nonetheless, though, I ain't gonna lie.
5,000 people in Ukraine. And if the officers didn't meet their quotas, then they risk being on the next batch ready to be genocided as well. Official Soviet archives list 681,000 people executed in those 2 years. That's roughly 1,000 people shot every day. All while the victory of socialism was supposedly in full swing. The only thing socialism truly won that year was the title of
Sanic.
biggest self-inflicted massacre in the 20th century. Until Mao beat your record. Don't worry, he's up later. Joseph, my friend, I thought Hitler was bad, but you? Come on, man. You know, I'm not a cop
You're a little less worse than that, nigga. But you still go to the red door, buddy. You're cooked.
or anything, but your actions might have just killed the entire socialist movements for generations to come. Could have been a nice thing, you know, somewhere. Red door, please. Call up case number 23525. Ah, Mr. Chamberlain.
This nigga might actually make it. He might not get fucking put to death in the red door.
While you weren't much of a genocidal guy, it can be argued, especially by modern historians and Twitter users, that your actions allowed Hitler to gather power and even allowed World War II to happen. So we gathered the speeches you gave before you quote-unquote saved the world to see if you were evil or just a silly little goose. Eyes on the television, please.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
And so you went on that plane to Munich. You met with Herr Hitler, allowed him to annex more, and came back home to London triumphantly the next day. Where you said, eyes again on the television, please.
I want to say that the settlement of the Czechoslovakian problem, which has now been achieved, is, in my view, only the prelude to a larger settlement in which all Europe may find peace.
I don't think he was as detrimental to his country as those other two individuals. I'd say he was just a silly little goose who wasn't locked in enough, bro. He just wasn't firm enough, bro. Honestly, that's all I'm saying.
Well, we definitely didn't forget this welcome. Hindsight is 2020, which I also didn't know before, means that even when you think you have perfect vision, you can still miss something important in hindsight, aka the past. And oh boy, Neville, did you have a bad vision. In this speech, you mentioned the settlement of the Czechoslovak problem. Let's unpack that, because it sounds way more polite than it really was. What you called a settlement was the Munich Agreement. You, Hitler, Mussolini, and Daladier, who was the Prime Minister of France, all sat down in Munich to decide what to do about the Sudetenland, a part of Czechoslovakia where a few million ethnic Germans lived. Hitler claimed they were being mistreated and demanded the territory back since they lost it after World War I. Instead of standing up to him, you and the others just handed it over.
How did you hand that over when you had the advantage? What the fuck? Did that nigga Hitler have like some magical persuasion charisma or something? I would have told that bitch ass nigga no! I ain't gonna lie, but who am I?
You didn't even let the Czechoslovaks into the room while their country was being carved up. Everyone called it a peace deal, but in reality, Adolf made everyone in the room look, well, maybe aside from Mussolini,
Weak.
because they were basically pen pals, look like absolute fools. Did you really think Adolf wanted it because the sentimental land values and all of that? Not because coincidentally the Sudetenland had Czechoslovakia's main fortifications, armaments industries and mountain defenses? Which meant taking it meant the country would be militarily crippled? No surprise, 6 months later Hitler took the rest of the country because why not?
We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again.
By again, you meant that you don't want a second world war. You famously once said, "I have seen the Führer, and I believe he is a man who can be relied upon when he has given his word." I'm sorry, Neville, but this isn't a steak dinner night reservation deal you're looking over. We are talking about another world war here. You mentioned it yourself just now, that you never want another one again. But you failed. And not just one bit. Hitler broke every agreement handed to him. And every leader in Europe, with you at the helm, let him get away with it until it was too late. Within 6 years, about 85 million people were dead. And Europe was in ruin.
85 million? Damn, I know it was that many people? Fuck! I thought it was like 20 or 30. Even that's fucking crazy, but 85? Damn, nigga.
But the consequences of your actions don't stop there. What followed was the Cold War, since the power vacuum in Europe allowed the USSR to become one of the main players. And the world was plagued by ideological wars for many years to come, where again tens of millions of people died. To this day, your actions, or rather lack of them, still has countries fighting it out against each other. Think about the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. The Holocaust, the direct result of your failure to stop Hitler, became the moral justification for creating Israel in 1948.
And that creation of that state, oh my god. So crazy.
Backed by, of course, Britain, which, to no one's surprise, caused a lot of suffering and anger to all parties involved. And no, it wasn't a secret that Adolf hated Jews. He had been making claims about them many years before you met him. But you know what? I think you knew somewhere inside of you that this appeasement policy wouldn't work. Why else did you manipulate the masses with your BBC propaganda reports, making it all look so much nicer than it actually was? I don't think you fully understand the severity of this situation. People blame you, Mr. Chamberlain, for World War II, for all the pain and suffering that came later. I'm not saying it's justified. You didn't pull the trigger after all, but you could have stopped it. Even
Yeah, pull the trigger, but he set up that groundwork though. Nigga was level 0, I ain't gonna lie.
God was disappointed in you, so he gave you a bowel cancer and you died the first year into the war because of it. I guess in that regard, karma has been served. I don't think you're evil, Mr. Chamberlain, but my God, are you a naive bastard. Green door. Wait, what?
What?
That can't be right. I'm sorry, Neville. Seems corporate disagrees with my assessment. I wanted green, but they say red. I'm afraid it's the red door for you too.
Yeah, you're done, buddy. Goodbye. Fuck it.
Alright, case number 23...
Mao Zedong! The big dog!
526, Mao Zedong. Let's see if the man who starved 40 million people has anything clever to say for himself. Chairman Mao Zedong. Let's set the stage. It's 1949. China has just emerged from decades of civil war and Japanese occupation, where the communists emerged over the nationalists who fled to Taiwan. The country is devastated, industries destroyed, farmlands ruined, and hundreds of millions living in poverty. When you took power, you declared, "The Chinese people have stood up." In the years that followed, you set out to transform China into a modern, industrialized nation that could rival the West. You looked at Britain, America, the Soviet Union, industrial giants, and said, why can't we do that? Why can't we leap forward instead of crawling? So, in 1958, you launched the Great Leap Forward. The idea sounded simple. Turn China into an industrial powerhouse overnight. No waiting, no compromise, no problem. But there was a problem. You had no machines, no engineers, no real plan, just slogans and fear. You famously told the nation in the same year, "Steel is the key. Without steel, we can't build socialism." So local officials panicked. Every town, every village was told to build their own backyard furnace to smelt metal and boost production numbers. People melted everything they owned. Pots, pans, farming tools, even door handles. Millions believed they were saving their country. Also because saying no to Mao basically wasn't an option. What they produced wasn't steel. It was slag, brittle, useless junk. But officials couldn't admit that. They faked the numbers, reporting record production. Mao
These niggas was making Fugazi iron. Oh my god! What a dickhead, bruh.
smiled. The party applauded, and the lie became national truth. Meanwhile, the tools were gone, and no one had anything left to harvest with. At the same time, you created people's communes. Thousands of families merged into one unit. The communes took everything. Farmers couldn't even keep a handful of grain. And when officials, trying to impress their superiors, lied about huge harvests, the government seized grain that didn't exist. What little food was left was locked up, guarded by soldiers. In some places, people were caught stealing a few kernels of corn and beaten to death. In others, entire families starved quietly because they'd been labeled as lazy or counter-revolutionary. By 1959, people boiled grass, ate bark, clay, and even their own children.
Oh!
Don't tell me you weren't
Damn, I know that. Wow, what the fuck? That's crazy, bro.
told about it.
It's okay, little Mau Mau. I know you and your sister are hungry, but it's time to... Me and your mama hungry, though, so it's time to turn to soup. Like, fuck.
Your own defense minister, Peng
Those out here turn their kids to soup. That's tough.
Duhai, sent you a private letter begging you to stop, to face the truth. You called him a traitor, purged him, and warned everyone else what would happen if they spoke up. From that moment, silence ruled China. Between 1958 and 1962, somewhere between 30 to 45 million people died. That's more than World War I. I will push you in the red door myself with that one. Bye.
Yeah, you're done. We don't even gotta talk more about that nigga. You're done, buddy.
Alright, I'm clocking out. See ya, boss. Goodbye, Oliver.
Hey, but with that being said, though, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Try to get to 1,000 subscribers. If y'all learned anything new about those world leaders, let me leave it down in the comments down below. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all next one. We out.